So every year on Facebook in one of the bow hunting groups, I'll see a post where someone puts a picture of their bow and then they have a zoomed in picture of their string, and they'll say something like, "I can't believe it, guys. I just ordered this bowstring 2 or 3 months ago from XYZ Bowstring Company, and it's super chewed up, it's fallen apart." But the truth is, when that string company mailed you the string and you opened it up out of the package, it didn't look that way. And I promise you that the string fiber isn't self-destructive. So here are 5 things you probably don't realize you're doing that's destroying your strings. So of course, the most delicate areas of the string that get fuzzed up is going to be any of these areas that don't have the serving protecting them. So above and below the center serving and these exposed areas here on the cables. So one of the first and most common mistakes people make is carrying their bow by the string anywhere on the string. And you see this a lot on 3D courses, especially for guys that use a handheld release. When they carry the bow by the string, the release sits here and slaps around. It really fuzzes up these areas above and below the serving, and even sometimes on these cables as well. Another way releases can chew up a string is for guys that use a thumb button and they leave it attached to the D-loop. The slightest movement can make it shift around. These thumb barrels are pretty textured and they can chew up the string pretty good. You also don't want to carry your bow with one of those on there. When you carry your bow by the grip, try to grab it on the inside of the grip as opposed to the outside of the grip. When you grip it on the outside, it tilts in and it can really abrade against your clothing as you walk. So the second most common mistake I see, and you see this one a lot at TAC, is the guy with the backpack and arrow tube holder carrying their bow on their shoulder. Anytime you stick it up there, you can see how it's rubbing on the fletchings and the arrows. And anytime I take it off and try to put it back in, you can see it hits those arrows pretty good. And those will chew up your strings pretty quick. So the third thing, and you can see this on a 3D course or especially with hunting, is walking through any kind of brush with unprotected strings. This is by far one of the quickest ways to chew up your bowstrings. Especially during a spot and stock. The last thing we're worried about is our strings. You guys are probably noticing a trend by now. Most of the things we've covered so far could be completely eliminated with the use of a proper sling, and that's a sling that covers the strings up. I can carry the bow like this. If it rubs against my shirt, it's going to be fine. I can carry it like this. With the backpack, it's going to be fine. And I can also do some spot and stock and walking through the weeds, and it's not going to mess the string up at all. So I highly recommend one of these. This one's called the Bow Slicker by Easton, and this is a really good sling. So the fourth most common thing has to do with transport and storage. You always see guys just grab their bow and stick it in the truck. Of course, it rubs on the seat, or it rubs on some of the seat belt buckles or anything they may have on the floorboard. So you definitely want to make sure you're storing and transporting your bow in a proper case. So I really recommend a nice case for storage and transport. I really like the SKB cases. There's a bunch of different cases on the market. Just make sure if you get one that has a bunch of straps in it, you're not going directly over the strings or cables. And try to keep your accessories and stuff separate from your bow. You see a lot of guys put their bow in the case and then they just stick their arrows and stuff in here willy-nilly. And you already know what's going to happen when they close their case. This stuff's going to rub all over the place. Guys that hunt and have broadheads, I don't know how many times I've heard of guys running a broadhead across their string and cables just because they left an arrow with a broadhead on it in their case. So you got to be careful about that. All right, last but not least, peep sights. Guys, there's so many different designs, so many different shapes, so many different sizes, so many different manufacturers, and some of them just have a poor design. Like these ones that have a shallow groove, the fibers don't sit fully in it, so it causes a lot of abrasion. Some of them have a burr on them, so it messes your strings up right out the gate. And speaking of the sizes, some of you guys use this real big giant peep sight. It causes pressure on the side of the strings. Couple that with a really poor serve-in job, and every time you shoot and it moves a little bit, it just eats your strings up. Just like this. Big old giant tube peep sight. And I know some of you guys know what I'm talking about. That is definitely a killer of your bowstrings. If your strings are already fuzzy, there's nothing you can do to go back and reverse the fuzziness. But as a preventative maintenance to stop it from getting worse, of course, if you're using a wax fiber, you can apply a little bit of wax. And if you're using a bloodline fiber, you can use the String Max string conditioner just to extend the life of those fibers. So I know I've missed some things. Please let me know down below. What are some things you guys have noticed causes a lot of damage to your bowstring? And what are some of the things you do to prevent it? Thank you guys for watching this video.